Okay, everyone. This is Manowar, The Triumph of Steel. Tracey picked this one up while we were at Something Else Records, which is in Kingston. I might as well run some of that video footage for you while I'm talking here, because I have to cut the sound out of that video footage due to the music playing in the background. But I also play the same video footage, I think, on my Anti-Nowhere League video. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, great little music shop in downtown Kingston. It's right by the art alley there, if I remember correctly. I highly recommend it. If you're in the Kingston area, go check it out. Which means, even if you're from the US, okay, you do the trip, that trip from New York there through the Thousand Islands, which is really cool. And then you land over in Canada, and then you go through customs and you do all that crap or whatever. And then you stop in Kingston and you go to this Something Else Records in downtown Kingston, and you give them some money, and it's a really good time. It's actually really funny that Kingston, sorry to go off topic here, that Kingston is so close to the US. Not as close as Windsor is, where I am. You know, I can literally see Detroit from my front porch. And I'm not even on the waterfront, and I can see Detroit from my front porch. Yeah, I can see both bridges from my front porch. You know, the one that Trump screwed over, and then the other one. The one that we need to screw over. Anyways, let's get into the Triumph of Steel on that note. Those bridges, Triumphs of Steel. Okay, so this album's really kind of interesting. My joke is, this is Iron Butterfly meets Rush. Specifically, Iron Butterfly, Sun and Steel meets Rush 2112. Why do I say that? First song on the album, 30 minutes long. I mean, this is a big, long song too, man. Achilles, Agony, and the Ecstasy in Light. Parts... Oh, in 8 parts, sorry. I read that wrong. The light here is kind of messing with me, sorry. That's Achilles, Agony, and Ecstasy in 8 parts. So the prelude is Hector Storms the Wall. Then you got the death of... what is that? Perseus? Funeral March. I'm not sounding the words out here. These are just hard to read. I should have turned on the overhead light instead of just using my aquarium light. Funeral March, Armor of the Gods, Hector's Final Hour. Oh man, Pandora's not gonna let me get through this. Pandora, the heavy metal kitten, has come to say hello, everybody. Alright, hi Pandora. Okay, you just gonna sit there and be a good girl? Okay. So you stop it. Apparently she's trying to, I don't know if she's trying to give her headbutt of approval or is telling me to stop talking about the album. All right, we got Hector's Final Hour, Death, Hector's Reward, and the Desecration of Hector's Body, Part 1 and 2, and The Glory of Achilles. Those are the 8 parts that make that up. Now, that being said, all of it's actually really easy to tell the different parts as you're going through until you hit I want to say Hector's Final Hour and Death, Hector's Reward. Those kind of go into each other real easy, so those are kind of hard to separate. The first couple are Hector Storms the Wall and the Death, Perseus. Those ones kind of blend, but you definitely can tell the second you're into the Funeral March. Armor of the Gods is real interesting. That's a drum solo, so that's got that Iron Butterfly touch there as well. interesting use of the drum solo. It's a drum solo in the sense that it's the drums playing by themselves, but it's not really a drum solo per se. It's the drums replicating, hammering armor and whatnot. I thought it was an interesting take. The whole way around, the first track on the album, Achilles, Agony, and Ecstasy in 8 parts, is actually... Okay. I have a tendency to make fun of Tracey for her love of power metal, European power metal specifically, this kind of stuff in general. But if you're into this kind of stuff, man, this is really good. If you're not into it, it's still pretty decent. Like, I actually enjoy listening to it for the most part. I mean, not on the same level as, say, 2112 or, Inagata Davida, but, it's not bad. After that, the album kind of takes a turn into the, oh, yeah, we're listening to power metal. For sure. We're well out and beyond the fringes of the prog metal. We're definitely right just back into the metal. Because then you got Metal Warriors. Oh, man. That one came on, and Drew was standing right by the stereo when it came on. He points at it, he goes, what? I go, Tracey. He goes, oh, okay. It's an understanding in the house. I don't listen to this type of music. And when it comes on, it surprises the hell out of people. And they're kind of like, what the So I think this is the second Manowar album I've covered. And I do distinctly recall, I think I enjoy this one more than the other one so far. Ride the Dragon, that one was okay, I mean, you got Ride the Dragon, it's a metal song, it's Manowar, yeah, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Spirit Horse of the Cherokee, okay, I'm not sure what to say about this one. Part of me digs it, part of me wonders if it's... It's Manowar trying to do Iron Maiden 10 years later. Oh, that's the best way I know how to put it. Burning, which neither here nor there on that one. The Power of Thy Sword, okay. The Demon's Whip, okay. I mean, when you consider what type of album this is and what's going on with the album and whatnot, I'm not sure if everything is supposed to continue the storyline into the second half of the album. It feels like it could be part of the same narrative. Feels like it might not be part of the same narrative. It's kind of hard to say. Because of songs like Spirit Horse of the Cherokee. That one doesn't have the same flavor lyrically as a lot of the other songs do. It feels kind of out of place. Less swords and sorcery, less D&D, and more, straight out mythology. Or I didn't even want to say mythology because that feels wrong as well, but it kind of feels out of place that way. And then the last song on the album is Master of the Wind. Well, this is not an album I would necessarily put on for myself. It's not a bad album. We got a sticker on here that says we paid $7.99 for it. We got our money's worth out of $7.99 for a used copy. Tracey really has enjoyed it so far whenever she listens to it. We were joking around actually in the car this morning when I was dropping her off at work. She was going on, oh, what's this? This is really good. I was enjoying this. She's getting out of the car. I go, it's the same album you keep saying that about. It's just a different track on the album that you've been saying that about for over a week or more now. She goes, oh, okay. I go, so I have to wonder how much you really like this album. Okay, so that's all jokes aside. It's not a bad album. It really isn't. It's just, not exactly my type of album. All right, so let's get into the breakdown a little bit with the band, because the band is written on the back here. So we got Eric Adams on vocals. The vocals on here are interesting because one moment he's reminding me of Chris Jericho doing vocals for Fozzy. And then the next moment he's reminding me of the vocalist, I can't think of his name, that was on Annihilator's Alice in Hell album. There's a few tracks in here actually that kind of had me going, oh, that's a little Annihilator sounding. Then you get David Schenkel doing electric, acoustic, and classical guitars. Rhino on drums and percussion. And Joey DeMeo on 4-string, 8-string, and piccolo bass guitars, as well as bass pedals. So that means the bassist had a Geddy Lee thing going on, man, where he's got the pedals going and he's got the strings going. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to open this up because there's a pretty cool little poster in here. I think it's just the album cover bigger. Or it's a full, there we go. It's a full fold out of the album cover. That's pretty cool in your typical metal kind of way, you know. Swords and boobies. Demon nymphs with their wings and whatever the hell. Fun times. If you're into power metal, if you're into the whole swords and sorcery thing, blah, 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 it's actually a pretty good album. I would put this on, okay, other stuff that I've listened to and reviewed recently, that I would compare this to, or, you know, whatnot. This is different than Wasp, so I really don't feel comfortable comparing to Wasp. Dio is my closest go-to for comparisons with this, and when comparing to Dio, some of those middle albums that I wasn't really a fan of, I would listen to this album before those. You know, there's a couple albums in there that were decent, but a few in there I wasn't a fan of. So, you know, like, this is pretty decent that way. If I were to compare it to Iron Maiden, no. Iron Butterfly's Sun and Steel album really is probably the best comparison for anything I've got in my collection I could compare this to. And I dig Sun and Steel, you know, and I feel that this is probably on par with that, so you could probably go with this with that, I guess. It's a good mix. No. Anyways, I'm going to leave this one here. I might do an actual link over at the end of the video to go to Sun and Steel so you can listen to my review on that one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. That's what the comment section is for. On your way down there, if you get a like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications, I'd greatly appreciate it. Like, there's a couple links worth checking out. Otherwise, folks, peace, love, take care.